Good evening, everyone.
Yeah,
So,
hi.
welcome to the Leading Through a Pandemic series of transformation webinars. This series of webinars is brought to you by MTE Exhibitions and co-organized by the Small and Medium Enterprises Association, Samantha, the Singapore Industrial Automation Association, SIAA, and the Malaysia Automation Technology Association, MATA, together with our technical partner, Evanesys. Now, this is a live series of live conversations trying to make sense of these unprecedented times that we're in, how we adjust and survive, how we navigate and move forward together. We're doing this the only way we know how, which is by having wise experts come on, talking to each other, listening to each other, and learning from each other. In the first session, we actually discussed how COVID-19 and the lockdown measures are impacting SMEs in the M&E and ESS sectors, what SMEs can do for immediate survival, re-strategizing, and whether there are needs for a change in the way things are done moving forward. In this session, we found that just over half of the SMEs polled are not yet convinced that adoption of new technologies can help them bring in revenue and recover cancellation of orders. Then in the second session, we talked about technologies that can help businesses recuperate, how to identify what is suitable for SME businesses, and how all this can work, and how we can identify what is suitable for SME businesses, whether it's difficult, whether it's expensive, whether it's justifiable, and how it can work. And what we found is that over 55% of SMEs have identified their biggest concern when setting up work from home programs is work culture, staff morale, and motivation. So that brings us comfortably into today's session, where the topic is transforming your workforce, business continuity moving forward. Now, to all of our viewers, we will be running polls and taking questions after we hear from our speakers. So please send us your questions now by scanning the QR code on your screen or clicking on the link in your YouTube chat window. Now, I'd like to introduce our panel of speakers. First up is Dr. William Ng, Group Publisher and Editor-in-Chief of Business Media International. BMI is the largest B2B media publishers in Southeast Asia, with brands including SME Magazine, HR Asia, Capital Asia, and CXC Asia. Today, Dr. William is with us in his capacity as publisher of HR Asia, but since he's also publisher of SME Magazine, Dr. William will be wearing two hats this evening. Hi, Dato.
Hello, Datin. How are you?
Good. So next we have Mr. Wayne Lim, Group Chief Editor of Malaysian SME Media Group. Wayne has been actively involved with the SME community for over 24 years and will be sharing ideas and experiences that are practical, not conceptual this evening. Hi, Wayne.
Hi, Datin. How are you?
Good. Looking forward. Now, from Singapore, we have Mr. Satish Alampali, Industrial IoT Director of Advantech Singapore Private Limited. Now, Satish has close to 30 years of experience in SCADA, automation, IoT, and cloud infrastructure. In the last 18 years, Satish has been on strategic assignments across Asia and works passionately to strengthen IoT ecosystems in India, Indonesia, and Singapore. Tonight, Satish will share insights on the business communities in the different countries, how they have adapted and grown with the use of modern technologies. Now, I say hi again, Satish.
Hi, Loretta. Thank you.
Welcome, everyone. Now, since the lockdown, businesses everywhere have been adapting to work from home environment. Business recovery and resilience is now very closely linked with how businesses and their teams adapt and adopt modern technology. To even compete, digital readiness is no longer optional, it's a must. And of course, when we think about anything digital, we tend to think first about technology. What is it, whether we need it, we do, and whether we can afford it. But the key isn't really about the modern day technology itself. It's about how we develop a modern day workforce that knows what to do with this modern day tech. right? So this is the new normal everyone's talking about, right? So this evening, let's talk about how SMEs can transform workforce to handle this change, how employers and employees can come together to reshape the new definition of workplace and work culture. This is critical to the survival of the business. So let's begin with Wayne.
Oh, hi. Thank
Yes,
you very much,
you're
Datin,
most welcome.
to let me have the honor to do the first opening speech. Thank you very much. Okay, hi. Good evening to all the viewers out there, to all my brothers of MSME, brothers and sisters of MSME community. Work from home. We have been talking about this a lot, even prior to this pandemic and this MCO, the lockdown. Yeah, so it's increasingly supposed to be a trend, but very unfortunately, if we were not to be forced to lock down during this period of MCO, I would think that it will still take us a long time, especially for the MSME businesses, to experience the true work from home. So from what I have gathered during this period of now already like 2 months, many MSMEs businesses are actually initially and until now still pretty much not getting used to it, right? Whether it is the owner themselves or the employees. So from my own experience and also from the MSME businesses who I have spoken with, so we look at the age group of the workforce. So we realize that the millennials, the younger they are, the easier they are to adopt and adapt to working from home, because these young people, they are flexible, they are fast, they are very used to technology. So and they know how to pick up new skill, they know how to pick up new application, new software faster. Very sad but true. I'm talking about majority as a whole. Whereas the baby boomers and Generation X is kind of a little slow. So this is the period that they are kind of struggling. And when this CMCO first implemented, then now we are in the second phase of CMCO. I mean, all of us, especially me particularly. So I've been observing the trend now. More and more people are going back to work on site. So it shows that it will take a while. I mean, we think, I mean, initially during the MCO that week, I mean, I've spoken to a couple of HR experts and consultants in the industry. We think that probably because of this MCO, it will force a new trend that many businesses, including the MSME businesses, will be very likely to continue the trend of work from home because of the benefits it represents in terms of cost saving, flexibility. So, but it's not really going towards that direction yet, judging from the number of cars now going back on street and going back to the on-site workforce. Yeah. But just to share with our viewers that we find that ultimately work from home has its own advantage, because if businesses who can, embrace technology, use technology wisely, right? To link up the entire workforce as a team to work together in terms of communication efficiencies. So there are many short software available. So that is where that we believe that the advantage will be given to, slightly skewed towards the MSME side, because now we are not talking about just employing the employees from the same area. Like, we live in Klang Valley, most of us here, except Satish. So the usual trend is usually we need to employ people who lives between the Klang Valley. But if we are able to adapt and adopt a work from home system for MSME businesses, now it become there's no boundary already. We can even now employ talents, nationwide, all over Malaysia. The employee can be living in Johor Bahru, Penang. They can still work for us. Even in future, I will believe that in near future, there's also an opportunity for us to hire, for MSME businesses to hire talent from another part of the world. So there's no stopping now because of the advancement of technology. Just like prior to this going live, Dr. William and I have spoken. We hardly speak on the same stage for like the last time we did that was 10 years ago. Yeah, but during this period of 2 months MCO, we have met each other more often than for the past 10 years, right? So it shows that technology helps. It makes people very efficient. So by just a matter of, I hope that the MSME businesses, the owner themselves and the employees, right, can actually fine-tune this mindset, try this out continuously, right? We know the disturbances of work from home. Like I myself experienced that. I have my colleagues who has young babies, young children at home. So while we are having our conference call meeting, so constantly the young children, they were bugging at their mom. So, but we just need to get used to it. I mean, it is fine. I mean, this is unprecedented, right? I mean, how often that the whole family are all being locked together. But I mean, in times to come, when all this CMCO is lifted, the pandemic is over, children will get back to nursery home or going back to kindergarten or school. I mean, the parents will be by themselves at home. So this is not going to be permanently there, all these disturbances. So, and there are many other factors as well that, I mean, we need to look at. Like working from home, it provides flexibility to the employees. Like we don't need to look at the screen 24 hours waiting for assignment. As long as we perform our job, right? We get things done, or communication wise in terms of timetable, scheduling, assignment. We all know when is that we're supposed to communicate and respond to each other. So it's kind of the very efficient. That's how I personally looking at it. So we have been speaking to a lot of MSME businesses. So I really hope that they can continue to use the work from home, this particular method now. And but of course, technology is a must when we are supposed to work from home. Without digitalization, and it's very hard to get things done. Thank you, Latin.
Wow, okay, that's a good sharing. But working from home is not just about that mindset and disturbances. Of course, like you rightly pointed out, there's the digitalization as well. And that actually, for some companies, some SMEs, that actually requires process re-engineering because they were just simply not set up for it. Yeah. But well, baby steps, right? So at this point, for those of you with questions for Wayne, do click on the link on the YouTube chat. Send us your questions. We'll be taking questions soon. Yeah. Next, let's hear from Dr. William.
All right. Thank you very much, Datin, and thank you to all the panelists. Also, a note of thanks to the organizers, MTE, for putting this together. I think it is very important that during this crisis, that all business people actually come out and support one another. So because of that, I think it is a very good job that you have done here, and I hope that you keep it up. As Datin has rightly pointed out, I wear two hats today. On the one hand, of course, we run HR Asia, where we deal with a lot of multinational companies looking into their employee engagement, looking at their workforce, as well as workplace excellence program and so on. And what I've been asked by Datin to do today is really to share some of the things that perhaps SMEs can learn from some of these larger companies when it comes to managing our people, creating a workforce that is world-class, so that it is not just about working from home. It is also about what happened moving forward, right? Because a lot of people use the term new normal. But if you ask me, the new normal really is what the normal is, but fast forwarded. Assuming that the COVID didn't happen, all of us will eventually, the trend for working from home is already there. I think eventually in 5 years, 10 years time, people will start working from home. But because of COVID-19, things actually sped up. I have a slide. I'm not sure whether I'll be able to show this. But again, Datin, if I exceed my time, feel free to just yell and I'll stop.
Okay.
All right. I hope everyone can see this. I promise to be very brief. This is something that I generally share. I will skip this one. This talk a little bit about SMEs and the composition within Malaysia. So I'll skip this one. The next one, let's talk about Malaysian SMEs and the challenges that our SMEs are facing. If you look at the extreme left, top left, there's a war of talent. One of the biggest challenges that SMEs, like all of us, face is really the fact that with or without a pandemic, we're already struggling trying to hire talents that, if you're going to put your employees in the grade, A, B, C, and so on, the reality is that those people who are on the A grade are not going to choose to work for SMEs. They would rather work for multinationals, public listed companies, and larger companies because of better opportunity, and so on and so forth. So That is number one. Number two, many of us do not have the skill sets to really define how we actually create a world-class workforce. You know, we might be good in running our business. We might be good in doing whatever it is that we're good at. But beyond that, there's so many challenges that we're really not up to. So what we are proposing and what I would like to digest here is this. After working with many MNCs over the past 10 years, not working in them, but working with them to look at what they have, I have actually distilled a list of things that perhaps SMEs can look into. I call this the 5 C's of building a world-class workplace as an SME. So very corny, I put it all C. Corny is also C. So number one, very important, is a lot of us do not realize that at the bottom of every workplace, in fact, at the bottom of every growth or growth-ready company is the culture. Do you or do you not have a culture that enables talent to thrive within your company? It's not just about hiring and giving more money and giving more benefits and promising them, the sky in terms of promotion, in terms of working opportunity and so on. Ultimately, people are attracted to your purpose and the culture within your company that you represent. So this can be anything, right? It can be fun. Right? If you look at Google, they represent fun. You go there, there's all these giant slides and so on. It can be a place like Apple where it's not so fun, but you have the best tech talents in the whole world. So that could be your culture. I think it's very important for us as SMEs to understand that building block of a workplace is not just doing it. It's also involved a lot of planning, and we begin with culture. The second one, of course, is communication. How do we communicate well with our employees are very important. I think this is again proven during the work from home and the MCO period. Some of us are so happy to be working from home, especially if you're an employee. But many of us, even employees included, find that it's so difficult to work from home. And what, besides the fact that, of course, you don't have a nice chair to sit on, and some of us have to hunch over a sofa and a coffee table to work, it's also the problem of communication. When you are face to face, you tell somebody to do something, pop, they say done. But you try to do that over Zoom, right? The same thing that could take 2 minutes to talk about will not take 2 hours. Because why? There's a question come back, then you answer, then you go back again and you answer again. 2 hours for something that you could do within 2 minutes. Perhaps Satish later can of course share with us some of the things that we can do in terms of how to actually communicate better in a sense. Third and very important is celebration. We must, as SMEs, and I find this is very true, we SMEs do not celebrate small wins. A lot of time, being SME bosses, we have this attitude of score, right? Oh, you're not doing well, do it again. You're not doing fast enough, do more. Hey, I'm paying you salary, do better. We're struggling here with a pandemic, you should be helping. So things like that. But what we have forgotten is that if these employees of ours, they have the same mentality as we do, they're probably already an entrepreneur or an SME by themselves. So we must always take cognizance of the fact that there are differences in how people think. One of the things that a lot of employees find, and this is something that all larger companies do, is to celebrate every small victory. So celebration. The fourth is, of course, compensation. Compensation doesn't mean that you have to pay the same amount, let's say Petronas. If Petronas pays a fresh graduate 5,000 ringgit, you don't have to match that. That's besides the point. Compensation can come in many formats, right? In terms of fringe benefits, in terms of other way, how you compensate your talent. And of course, very important, and this is again something that I find severely lacking, especially among other SMEs. It doesn't matter whether it's in Malaysia or across the border in Singapore. Also the same. Many SMEs have not practiced compassion when it comes to the employees. A lot of time we treat our employees as staff, and that is not wrong, right? But we fail to show compassion that actually is very important in building a world-class workplace. So I hope I've not bored everyone with these 5 things that I think we should all learn from. But I feel it's very important because we shouldn't be just talking about working from home, talking about what can we do now with the COVID in full force and so on. But we need to look a little bit beyond that. In 2 years' time, 5 years' time, 10 years' time, how do we grow from where we are as an SME into a larger company? And it starts by building a world-class workforce. So I think that is what I have to share for now.
Well, thank you, Dr. William. So in the gist of it, you're saying we need to sexy ourselves up. We need to rely more on actual communication, not just the non-verbal ones, because things can get lost in translation, especially on WhatsApp and emails. We need to celebrate more, and we need to compensate and be more compassionate, right?
Correct.
So now, Satish,
Yeah.
what do you think? Yeah, now that we've touched on people and process and communication, let's hear from our tech heavyweight.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Lorella, and it's my really a pleasure to represent SIAA and be part of this panel. And yesterday we had a very good chat with William, Wayne, and Lorella, and all that. In preparation, it was a good debate and try to understand each other.
Yes.
So it was really good for me to associate across the border with Malaysia and trying to talk and understand things. Okay, so it's really my honor to be here today, and I welcome all the participants. And I will be sharing my slides. So hold on. Now. Okay, so if you look into this, the first slide, what I'm trying to put up is all the countries in ASEAN, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, everybody used to talk in the past, and of course even now, industry forward, industry 4.0, how do you upgrade, our workers and skills future in Singapore, and things like even Thailand, everybody is talking about upgrading and going with cobots, right? So collaboration between human beings and the robot, smart readiness, digitalization, and a lot of incentives by government. This all is going on in the past. So what comes to our mind now? What is this? How is this going to be in post-COVID, right? So, like myself, when I was going to think through the whole thing, are these relevant? This is the first question comes to our mind, right? So, should we continue this? And what are the new additions? There are some things gets added, maybe something gets deleted. We don't know. Okay, so which are the top priority? Because money, how much you want to invest, is it too much for to do everything, right? And what is a top priority? And having this post-COVID future in the mind, we need to think what are the top priorities. Then comes, can SMEs afford, just now what I mentioned, vitamin M, right? The money. So everything is important to invest, good to have, but in ASEAN countries, okay, making it relevant to ASEAN, we need to pick up the right things, what everybody is talking globally, not just go for the sake of going. Okay, so point number 4 is that, of course, I'm very passionate about technology, but everything again comes back to, can we afford, right? The next one is, can employees adopt? Like just now what William mentioned, and even Wayne mentioned, it's very important to make the workforce adopt to this, correct? So these are all the things. Now my question is, number one, if you ask my own opinion on the first one, yes, digital transformation skills upgrade very relevant. Okay, even now is very relevant. Second question, any additions? Yes, telecommuting is an addition. Okay, cloud is a really important now. It was not so important in the past, I can say that, but it's more important, the cloud. And we are safety of the employees, health of the employees, all those things we cannot ignore anymore, right? We have to continue to build that kind of confidence to the employees so that they feel safer, right? So then comes, these are all the new things to be added, virtualization and things like that. And then what are the top priority? Among this, work from home, telecommuting, safety, all these are very important. And the cloud, these are very important, top priority. Then, of course, SMEs, if they can afford, my advice basically is that your aggressiveness depends on the market that you are in. Okay, certain markets, certain customers definitely need this kind of digitalization. Certain things you may not be going very aggressively. Okay, so it varies. There's no one size fits all approach in this. Okay, everybody don't have to say the same thing. It all depends on ASEAN country context. Every company varies. Can employees adopt? definitely the trust is an important factor, according to me. Okay, can employer trust factor really improve? In order to improve, both have a role to play, not just employer, even employees. So do we have the right KPIs? Okay, do we track it? Okay, this becomes very, very important, because we are not no more going to supervise everybody what they're going to do. We're going to go by results, right? So these are all the things it comes to my mind, and when I talk about post-COVID. Okay, and yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure how exactly the Malaysian companies will be thinking in this way, but this is what comes to my mind. So now look into this. Who led the digital transformation? Very interesting, humorous, but there is a lot of thing involved in this. There is a real deep meaning into this. Okay, so the Forbes magazine says already 70% of the companies had plan in digital transformation. They were working on something. Okay, it's not new that only post COVID, but they need to review, look, retune, and prioritize. So even COVID-19 has forced the companies, and towards the digital transformation. So now the Forbes contributor, one of the guy like Andrew Philip, he says these are the four very important ones. Okay, telecommuting, virtual, and on-demand food services in the cloud. These are very important because of COVID-19 and in the future. Okay, let's pay attention to those things that are really must post-COVID. Okay, now look into this. Is post-COVID situation more favorable to 4.0 and other automation initiatives we saw in 2019 and before? Okay, the first one, he says, okay, technology can unlock potential, give you freedom, make you fly. Okay, they excite you, right? Very exciting. But the second one, he says digital transformation is about talent, not technology. Contradictory, one and two. But both are telling the same thing. They are emphasizing, one is emphasizing on talent, other one is emphasizing on technology, right? So very interesting finding. Now you see here, number 3, it is difficult to determine which technologies will improve our working lives and real value to internal operations. So very valuable input. Okay, it's not easy. There's no easy way out. Okay, we need to be careful. So here it says young people skills are very vital. Okay, so even we need to focus on training young people and make sure that you keep them motivated. Okay, so this is what is one of the things. And then of course the last one is COVID-19, the push businesses need to fast track technology adoption. So some may come out on top when this topsy-turvy world ends. Okay, that means you will know, only time will tell you. Okay, so since sum up, you may not be completely understanding what is digital transformation, just touch base. It involves 3 things: people, technology, and data. Okay, so when you say people, that's what just now we covered: the skills, upgrading, and things like this, technology adoption, and the data. Now, if you look into this, the domains, 5 domains. So customer, competition, okay, and data and innovation and value. So customer is actually, you should center the customer towards your business goal. Okay, what's your business goal? Has to be very, very clear. Then only you can think of digital transformation, where to emphasize more. So these are the 5 different domains. So, but competition is important, and data is very, very key thing, and you can turn data into assets. All right, it's really an asset. But if you have like I can show you at the end here, according to research from Harvard Business Review, 1.3 trillion spent on digital transformation in 2018, and estimated $900 billion was wasted when initiatives didn't meet their goals. See, a lot of junk, correct? A lot of junk. 85% is junk. So why do you invest on those things? So we just need to go very wisely in digital transformation. Just don't do it for the sake of doing it. This is my advice. So there are 4 pillars of digital transformation, and the priority is almost equal. This is a survey done by SMEs in Singapore. You can see that engaging customers, 73%, optimize operations, 73% weightage, transform products, empower employees. All these are all equally important. You can see this top 4. All the SMEs feel that they need to engage customers, they need to spend on it, they need to optimize operations. So these are all important pillars, that are required. Now, if I compare, for example, I understand from Lorilla that there are a lot of companies in Malaysia, maybe a lot of audience here, or supply chain, some are machine equipment builders, maybe manufacturing and things like this. So it's very important to look at the left-hand side, the survey that is done. So more than 40% people, a greater customer experience. They do it because of a lower cost of operation. They do it because it's a faster reaction to supply chain and improve the customer loyalty. There are plenty of benefits they find. I'm only sharing the data that is in the survey. Okay. On the right-hand side, you can see that laggards versus leaders. Okay. So majority of them feel that yes, whatever they've invested, it's worth it. Okay. More than 51% somewhat, and some of them agree fully. So the current economic situation needs careful prioritization on how we spend on digitalization. Okay. Yes. We need to analyze the benefits very clearly. Some of the slides are new, some of them are old. Okay. Yes. But I try to mix them together because there is no proper answer if you look into post-COVID. Okay. We just have to apply our mind and look into this. This is what I was thinking of.
So what you're saying, So what you're saying is that yes, it's important to invest, but don't just blindly invest.
Yes, true.
So that still comes back to the question of people, right?
Yeah.
So now it's time to hear from the audience. Let's go to our polling sessions. Okay. Let our audience tell us what is important, how we can help them. So please, to everyone in the audience, please click on the link, participate in our polling session, right? So Jenny, can we have poll number 1? Poll number 1. Are we doing poll? Okay, so let's look at this, yeah? Can we go to poll? Yeah. So for members of the audience, please let us know what is the biggest setback of your HR strategy? Where is your weak point? What do you think it is? Is it recruitment, remuneration, engagement and retention, training, development, performance measure, or even digitalization? And while we're waiting for the results to come in, Wayne, would you like to share a little bit about what you think is going on here?
I would think that my guess would be retention would be an issue here. Okay. So it looks like now the chart, the graph is changing like very quickly. So yes. Yeah, the recruitment is always an issue. Just like, okay, earlier Dato William has rightly pointed out, right? The best talent, the people, the first class honor graduates, they wouldn't want to apply the job and work for SMEs. Yeah. Everybody, right? Everybody. If I go to university quite a fair bit to engage with the as an industrial board advisor. I mean, most students, most graduates, when they need to submit their job application, the first job application, they always go for the large company, right? They want to work for the banks, they want to work for the telco, branded company. Nobody is going to work for like Ali, Mutu, or Akau SME company. So, but the reality in the whole market is the SMEs in totality employ close to 70% of workforce. So in Malaysia alone, it's about 10 million. Right. So the large company, right, including the government, the public sector, right, they only employ the remaining 30%. So the reality here is when all these fresh graduates submit all their application to this large corporation, like I always say, right? This large corporation, they always have the luxury of interview and interview and interview, filter and filter until they get to recruit the best talent. So the rest then will have to come and settle for the second best, which is with the SME businesses. This is a reality, right? So then if we go on, if my guess is correct, I'm not sure whether the chat will be still changing.
It's
So
still changing.
So
now
the next
engagement.
Yeah, oh, now it become engagement and retention again, right? So the challenge of the SME businesses as always is like we do our best, right? We do our best. We take in the fresh talent coming in, right? Where the largest company thinks that they are not good enough for them, based on whatever reason, their selection processes. So that when this fresh talent come into the SME businesses, we train them very hard, right? We train them, we give them the job opportunity on the job training. But then the problem here is after 2-3 years, when the good one who learn fast, who perform very well, then retention is a problem, because then the large corporation will come back to headhunt them again. And when they are good, right? When the first time when they didn't get to successfully apply into the large corporation, then this is a time that they will go back to reapply, because then now they think they have the job experience, they have a proven track records, they know what to do, they're going to apply. Then it's very hard to retain them, because how much an SME can offer. I mean, with the likes of like Lato William has mentioned, if Petronas for a fresh grad can offer 4,000-5,000 just for the start, what do we think that? How much can Petronas offer to headhunt a talent with 3-4 years of very good proven result? And now they can prove that they can deliver. I mean, they can pay through their nose. And when the likes of Google, Facebook come knocking on this talent, I have spoken with millions of SMEs. There's no way we can retain. It's just in our fantasy that we think we can retain them. And the good one, they have two choices. Usually the two choices is either they work for the largest company now with a better pay, with a better position, or they will start a business. When they start a business, then they rival back the SME businesses. Then you have another new SME business in town that's going to rival the rest of the SME. So, but for me, the reality, the most practical thing here is for my sharing with all my fellow MSMEs, brothers and sisters, is don't get upset, don't feel disappointed. We just need to look at, we are always the training ground. If we have a very good training and development for fresh grad to come into, for very young people, very raw people coming to our organization, and we know how to train them, right? Then we will be able to sustain, and we can succeed in our business. I am an avid football fan. I love football to the max. So these 2 months I go crazy without all this league that's going on, right? If you look at the football league as an example, right? The best club, they always wins the championships, are always the same biggest club in the world. These biggest clubs are the likes of Petronas, the likes of Maxis, the likes of Celcom. If I were to put them into that league, right, they are large corporations. And the rest of the clubs are there just to make up the numbers. This is a reality. You go back to the past 10 years, past 20 years, there was only this out of the blue, Leicester City. They won the English Premier League. Like the whole world is jumping, like what the hell is going on with Leicester? What happened to the rest? But this happened only once in the 100 years.
True.
So yeah, but they are not upset. Why? Because the smaller club, right, in all these best league in the world, they are so good in talent development. They know how to spot the young boys and the young girls and bring them through their academy. They train them and they sell them for a lot of money to the Giants club, the likes of Ajax in Holland, right? Ajax is the best known for that. Last year during the Champions League, they have the youngest squad.
Wait.
Oh, okay, stop. Okay,
Before we go into football.
don't let me talk football.
I know you and your football, but it does look like engagement and retention is holding at 50% quite securely. So that seems to be the biggest setback that's identified. Yeah.
I wish I wish that I could have presented my slide at this point rather than earlier on, because it's suddenly not so relevant, talking about the 5C and what it is. I think Datin and Wayne knows that I also organize some of the largest career fair in the country. So there's the Job Street MCTF and the Mega Career Fair. And Wayne is absolutely correct, right? So now that I'm putting back the entrepreneur hat, you realize that when you interview a good candidate, you only have a window of 48 hours in a career fair to go back to this candidate and say, look, you're getting the offer. Because when you don't do that, they would have gotten snapped up by all other companies. So for a lot of SMEs, we spend a lot of our energy building our business, going to war in the market, but we don't realize that there's just as much war at the back end, which is the war for talent. How do we get the best talent out there? Because that would determine how successful our business would be in the long run. So there's something for us to consider. I think many of us are already aware of that, but we may not be able to see the full gravity of how important having the right talent in our companies are. And I think this is something that is an absolute wake-up call with the COVID-19.
Yes, I think so. Now let's go to poll number 2. Can we pull up poll number 2? And in the meantime, to young viewers out there, study hard, become brilliant, learn all the new skills. You'll be snapped up just like that. Okay, poll number 2. How do you define what is an employee? Is it an asset, an associate, a cost, resource? What is it? Come, tell us what you think. Oh my. Now, Dr. William, would you like to comment on what this really, how crucial it is to find out how an employer looks at what an employee really is?
I was hoping that the majority of us going to say asset, right? So maybe.
Oh, there. The
one person. Thank you very much. But don't let me change your mind. Just say whatever you really think. What employee means. As an employer, right? Especially because I'm in a services sector. I believe most of the audience today are from either manufacturing or machinery and distribution sector. So from a services sector, obviously, without saying it aloud, and actually everybody knows, employee is definitely your biggest asset. What else have you got, right? We don't have the machinery. We don't, our office and tables and chairs are worth nothing. So essentially what we have are the people that are with us. But so I can see now even the majority of the viewer also agree. Asset has actually gone up. And number 2 is actually talent. I think these are 2 keywords. And of course, there's associate and resources. I'm quite surprised that is there a cost there or something? Has it been?
Yes, there is.
I'm not surprised that nobody actually put employee as a cost. But the reality that we want to discuss today is looking at the pandemic. There are 2 ways to look at it. If you are a company with, say, 100 employees, and all of a sudden you realize that, look, for the next 1 year, you're not going to have any production. Whatever you're selling is not going to work, right? And you suddenly you have 100 people. What do? Are these people then your asset, or are they your cost? So these are the kind of hard questions that we need to ask. But ultimately, I think we believe, and I think that is completely true, that no matter how tough it is, when it comes to employees and paying the salary and so on, we must look at it positively, because one of the ways for us to come out from this stronger is really to work on employees and ensure that they're completely ready, so that when the pandemic is over, we can gain back all the lost ground. Right.
Datin, may I add to what Dr. William has said, right?
Yes.
Since most of the viewers agree that employee is an asset.
Yes.
So for quite a while now that I have been actually shouting out very loud to the regulator, the Human Resource Ministry.
Yes.
An asset means if it's traded.
Okay.
Yeah, if it is traded, right? Just like in football league, right? When the smaller clubs play, right? The bigger club had to pay for it because the smallest club take a long time to train them, you see. So I've been saying that it's very unfair for SME businesses who employ up to 70% of workforce. So every year when hundreds of thousands of graduates come out, 70% of them work for SME. They are being trained by the SME businesses, right? Dr. William will agree with me, right? Business owner in SMEs, we always train our employee very hard. We teach them all that we could, right? But then up to 3 years later, like I said, when they're so good, right? Then this large company just come in and just headhunt them and just take it away. And these SME businesses can't even get 1 cent out of it. This is totally unfair. So if there must be a new law in future and in immediate future, if this thing happen, a larger company took an asset from the SME company, they must pay for the transfer fee, right? Dr. William, you agree with me or not?
I would definitely agree from an SME perspective, but the reality is people move wherever the grass is greener, unfortunately. So which is why as SMEs we must, although we are SME in size, but I think we must start thinking in terms of being a larger company, being more organized in terms of how we actually set our workforce and how we think in terms of how we organize our company. So this will at least help, if nothing else, it help cushion the flow of employees moving out from our companies.
Okay, let's go to poll number 3. Can we have poll number 3? Okay, so we come to the tech question. So post-COVID-19, what is the most important reason for you to accelerate your digital transformation? Is it situation demand? Is it staying competitive, ensuring sustainable growth, or improving efficiency? Satesh, this is your arena.
Yeah. Okay. So polls are
sustainable
coming
growth.
now. Sustainable growth, I think. Yeah, but the tricky thing here is the post-COVID. Okay.
Yes.
So now and the future, how you think it's going to impact our business? If we're talking about the growth, and of course the growth has got a new benchmark now. People are going to dip. Okay, maybe everybody will be dipping in 2020, 2021, 2022, then they go again, right? You have to start to climb up later on. So this is the thing. When we say sustainable from now on, at least another such thing should not come.
Can I just jump in here and ask you, when companies are indicating they want digital transformation to ensure sustainable growth, right?
Yeah.
So in terms of sustainable growth, what is the difference pre-COVID and post-COVID in terms of digital transformation? I mean, it's gonna give you sustainable growth anyway. So what is the significant difference?
Okay, the main difference I find is that whatever learning lessons, because of pandemic, so we should be more experienced now. Like you go back to the SARS, what happened in 2003, the pandemic, and then 2009, another one, and then the economic and all the impacts were there. So we have to become more intelligent in terms of sustaining the growth in spite of this. So we need to learn lessons, adopt some new things, so that you will not have the similar thing again.
Does that mean that in the post-COVID arena, the kind of transformation tools that we would select would be different compared to if we were to do this, embark on this journey pre-COVID?
I will not say different, but we need to be more adopting more things, some more things.
Right.
Some more things.
Faster.
Faster. Because we're trying to accelerate now. And then that is what is a sustainable growth. And I think
improved efficiency is at 29%.
That means if you do the digital transformation and if you accelerate, you will be able to improve the efficiency of employees or maybe your productivity and things like this. So what people, the result here is telling us that the sustainable growth is a very key priority, right? And of course, improve efficiency is part of the sustainable growth. Actually, if you improve efficiency, you will anyway get into this.
Okay. So now, there's a slight dip, but we're looking at, sustainable growth seems to be the most important reason for people to accelerate their digital transformation. Okay, so now let's go to the Q&A section. So I think some of the questions have come in already. Can we have the questions on screen? Here we go. So let's just tackle it sequentially. Considering the drought in business opportunities, how can we as SME be able to become viable post-COVID? Let's tackle this question in terms of transforming our workforce, right? Okay, who wants to take this one? Wayne, let's hear from you.
Okay. Be viable. We just say viable, right? So if I
Yeah.
were to get this question correctly,
Yes.
am I right to say that this viewer is trying to ask how to staying afloat? Am I
I
answering
think
it this way?
so. I think
Yeah.
stay competitive and stay relevant. I think, yeah.
Okay. So because by not knowing in the particular industry, I would just take it as a very general view of this, right? I
Yes.
would personally feel that the first thing the SME businesses must look at the fundamental of doing business. Forget about what is going to be the new normal, right? Everybody's trying to find out what is a new normal of doing business. But the fundamental of doing businesses here is the new normal now is because there's this new SOP, the guideline that SME businesses must comply in doing business, right? So there will be a substantial cost involved here, increase of cost of doing business, right? Because number one, if it is an SME in the restaurant business, the capacity in the restaurant now cannot be the same anymore pre-COVID.
Yes.
Right? So your capacity is reduced by 50%, but the cost will now increase. Why? Because the restaurant need to buy this temperature reader, right? The restaurant need to provide a hand sanitizer. There's so many other few SOP to follow. So the cost will go up, you see. So now in order to stay viable and to stay afloat or even to stay competitive, the SME businesses must now look at how are they going to manage this cost, because to me, the cost is still the number one factor. I mean, like recently, we just spoke with the example, the interstate bus operator. So if it is a bus operator, it's an SME business who own a fleet of buses now. So now the buses are allowed to operate again. So what is the issue here? The issue here is because of social distancing, the capacity to cut by 50%.
Yes.
But now the government is saying that you cannot increase the price. So where is the logic? So there's no logic here. So now if the price cannot be increased, but the passenger load now is reduced by 50%, how is that going to do business? How is it going to stay viable? So the first thing have to look at it now is the cost. How do the bus operator now reduce the cost and still to be able to be sustainable, right? Even the other type of bus operator is like school buses operator. It's also another issue here. That means they cannot now load in the same number of students onto their bus, but then again, what about the fare structure here? So this is an issue that all MSME businesses must look at it very closely. I mean, I will just give another example. A factory, they used to have 1,000 workers to work in a factory. Just to give the cost implication here. Just to provide face mask to the 1,000 worker a month, it will cost this factory owner close to 30,000 ringgit just to provide face mask.
So that is another cost in itself, yeah?
Yes, 30,000. So,
but cost is another topic for another day.
Yep. So
let's come back to transforming workforce. Our next question is specifically for Dato' William. Oh, it's a tough one. Apart from remuneration, what is the most important factor we as SMEs must consider in retaining workforce? How can we do this? Over to you.
Unmute, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you hear me now, right?
Yes.
So I'm a bit long-winded. So before I answer this question, which of course has got my name on it, allow me to add on a couple of points to what Wayne was saying just now about what SMEs must do now, given the fact that there's not much opportunity. I think we need to look into the crisis and ask ourselves, is a crisis an opportunity or is really a crisis? Is the pandemic doing what time would have done to us anyway? So in short, is our current business model a sustainable one or it is not? If it is not a sustainable model, for example, we all know, right? F&B, even before the COVID-19, business in general for the retail sector, for the F&B sector has been going down for many years. One, because of delivery trend, number one, right? The trend for central kitchen, absentee central kitchen, meaning central kitchen that deliver without any seat. Same goes to the retail. What the COVID-19 has done is really to speed it up and So there's a question really to ask. Is it really an opportunity or a crisis? So that's number one that I want to add on to what Wayne was saying. Now, to come to this question about remuneration and what is the most important factor that SMEs must consider, I think first and foremost, we must always remember this. Unless you are severely underpaying your staff, or unless a competitor is severely overpaying your staff, remuneration is never the most important factor when it comes to retaining your workforce. People don't work just for the money, right? So I think that's something that all of us must understand, because if we don't, then we keep on thinking, as SME, we cannot afford to pay more. We cannot afford to pay more because the bigger boys can pay more and so on. And that is wrong, because in my company is very small. And we have had people who actually came from multinationals, right, who join us. We also, of course, seen the other way around as well. Of course, our staff leaving from multinationals and so on. And this, we are not unique. There are many SMEs that see them, successful SMEs who are able to attract people from multinationals. And why is that so? And this is a keyword that we must all remember today. And that is, people don't work just for remuneration. They work for purpose. All right. So when they work for companies like Petronas, they work for companies like Apple. They're not working just because, Apple pay them well. They work because they're creating world-class products. So the question that SMEs must ask ourselves is, what kind of purpose are we giving our staff? Why is our staff coming to work every day? If it's just salary, you're just paying somebody who in their heart do not want to work for you. So you're keeping somebody in your company just because they like your salary. Is that what we want to do? So always remember that salary is not the only consideration. In fact, it shouldn't even be in a consideration unless it's severely underpaying your staff or your competitors overpaying them. Always remember that people work for purpose.
Yes,
I
do agree. I do agree. I think, okay. Oh, we have a comment here. Comment, not question. That says that, okay, showing compassion is very important. Thank you for your insight, Dr. William. We like football quotes, Wayne, and you speak about the reality of what's going on in retention of talent. Oh dear, okay. Sorry to cut off your football quotes. There are people in the audience who like it. Okay, now our next question. Oh, can we see it? Satish, this looks like it's for you.
Yeah.
What type of software can SMEs use to help their business? Can give an example of a software. Okay.
Okay. Okay, it's very difficult to name any software straight away, because as I told you, it depends on the right digital partner that the company engages. Okay, every company must engage a right digital partner who can help them what is right for them. Okay, it's very, very, very general. I mean, I can't be straight away telling any software here, but there are many combinations. People have to think of what is important to them as the customer focus, or they want to be, transforming the product or services and things like this. So they'll have to wisely decide based on that what software they would like to get. Okay, it varies a lot between SMEs and type of industry they are in, which manufacturing, they're in warehouse management, things like this. So there are a lot of software companies. You can get back to those companies who are good in IoT or digital transformation, and then you can see how. So you definitely need a consultation, I can say.
So would you say that first the consultation will help the SMEs to identify what exactly they need to do? But before that, would all of you agree, before that, the company, the business owner really needs to decide first where he wants to take the business?
Correct.
Only then you can source for the tools to take you there and train the people to use the tools.
Yeah,
right?
Correct.
Okay, we have one last question. I think it'll be interesting to hear from all three of you. How do you define a good talent if they are fresh graduates? Many fresh graduates are unemployed during MCO, as MNCs and SMEs are not hiring. So how do we define a good talent if they are fresh grad, no work experience? Let's go with William first. Two hats, yeah, you're wearing?
So which hat you should be putting on right now?
Half and half.
Half and half, very good. I think what is a good talent is really something that for you yourself to determine, right? Does it mean that somebody with a first-class degree is necessarily a good talent? Does it mean that somebody who has got the exact experience that you need? You know, if let's say you are a publication house and this person has done a publication business before, and does it automatically mean this person is a good talent? So I think ultimately it's for you to really decide. That's very important, right? And for a lot of people who are unemployed out there, and this is a message for you, really is that this is an opportunity for you, if you can, volunteer to help out in MNCs, volunteer to help out in SMEs, gain some experience. A lot of SMEs, it's not that we do not want to hire. Of course, now it's not a good time to hire. But if you are finding yourself unemployed, even volunteering now would help, because once the economy pick up again, this will actually show well in your resume and it will help you a lot. All right. So I'm not sure whether I'm actually answering the question. I probably gone a bit sideway. But
No, I think it's a good insight. What about you, Satish?
Okay, what I feel is, since you're mentioning fresh graduate, okay, important thing to know, somehow in the interview process, we need to find out how is the attitude of the person.
Yes.
Okay, because fresh graduates will assume, they have all the similar knowledge and thinking because they are not having any exposure. But everybody will have a different attitude, acceptability, learning, interest, eagerness, excitement, all are important because they are fresh. They can really learn a lot of things if you mold them very well.
Yes.
This is what I feel. Yeah.
And now Wayne, and now even allow football comments.
Thank you very much for such an opportunity. I must admit that, right? I'm stuck in interviewing and assessing people, right? I must say that. Then I must also share that the truth is, when we come to the interview process, right, most SME businesses will not have the kind of tools and the kind of investment and the kind of resource.
Okay.
Yes.
To put the fresh grad through the kind of assessment until the attitude, all this assessment characteristic, right? So this now become an issue for SME businesses. So my advice is this is a very practical advice, which I've done it for my own organization and it works very well. Taking a lot of interns, right? Because what I have realized that when I engage with universities, that most only the MNCs or the large corporation, they take in the students to do internship with them, right? Not many SME businesses. I mean, looking at there are 1 million SME businesses in Malaysia. Not many of them are engaging with university.
Right.
So for my organization, right? So for the past 2 years, especially, for every moment of time, we have no less than 5 or 6 interns in our organization. Because when the intern comes in for even a short 2 months, 2 months actually is a long time. Imagine that every month they work for about 22 days. I mean, they are doing practically 22 days of interview per day, 8 hours of interview. That's a lot of assessment. So after 2 months, we will know their characteristic, their attitude, their skill set better than we do the 10 hours interview. I mean, of course, we do 10 hours interview. And it's very hard. No, the truth is, it's so hard during an interview process to judge a person's characteristic and attitude, because people read a lot and there are books that they say, how to go for an interview. When they go for interview, everybody sounds so great. Everybody sounds so polite, right? The attitude is 100% well, because just like a marriage, right? A marriage, before you even go into a marriage, I'm telling you the truth, right? I mean, that you're laughing now. After 10 years of sleeping with the next person, you know the person inside out. Now you know what kind of character they are. This cannot happen on the first date, right? Or even the first 10 days. So, I mean, let's be realistic about it. For SME businesses, if we want to hire the best talent from the first grade, take in a lot of interns, right? Because I mean, the large corporation, they can afford. Let me tell you, it's not that the large corporation, they have a very good interview process, that they always get the right people to work for them. But because they always have buffer, right? For a same job, they have 10 person doing one job. But for SMEs, right, we want one person do 10 jobs. How are we going to get the right talents? So we got to understand our own predicament.
Internship is very important. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for that. No football for now.
We've gone to marital advice. Sideways. That's totally sideways. But okay, I think we're done with the Q&A for now.
Can I add on something to this, or
sure.
we are run out of time? Sorry, I'm a bit
It's okay.
long-winded, as I mentioned. So I think one of the things that many SMEs do is that we hire for skills. You know, we look at somebody, let's say you have a machinery setup. You want to hire somebody who know how to repair those machines and repair those well. What we really like to think is that when you are looking for the long term and you want to look at talent, don't just hire for skill. Hire for alignment to your purpose, number one. Number two, hire for integrity. I think that is very important, right?
Yes.
People with good integrity, people who are honest, people who actually believe in a good day, hard work, you know, to earn their income, will automatically find a way to do well for you as an employer, right? You've got to hire somebody who's very skillful, the best technician in town, but this person has got zero integrity. Then effectively, you have just hired somebody who's a highly skilled con man. So you want to hire for integrity and you want to hire for purpose, alignment to your purpose rather than just in terms of skill, right?
So someone who will work with you because they believe in the cause you're having.
Correct.
And they will sweat and blood and sweat with you
The
all the
alignment
way.
of your purpose, correct?
Yeah. So what about, okay, this question's from me. What about the old school Chinaman thinking, yeah? I keep the staff that's loyal, the one that I can trust. May not be the smartest, but he's the one I trust, the heart. What's your take on that? Is that the best talent?
Are you asking me or are you asking Wayne now?
Oh, all three, one by one, don't worry, you start.
I think loyalty is obviously very important for SMEs. I think any company, you should absolutely value loyalty, but don't allow loyalty to blind what is the purpose of what you're doing. We are all doing this for a very important purpose. Of course, that is the sustainability of our business. That must be first and foremost in our mind. If having somebody loyal, you know, be serving for many years, but if this person are not able to contribute to you and in fact become a burden one day, then you have to make a decision. Do you really treasure loyalty more than survival of your company? Would having this one person, although fantastic, loyal, do his job, but creating problem for the rest of the staff, is it worth having this person disrupting the entire operations of the company? What is more important, your business, the livelihood of your family and those of all your employees, or this one person who's loyal to you? So I think we have to find a balance between hiring people who are loyal and treasuring them, but also treasuring performance, treasuring good fit to your culture, treasuring people who can actually advance everyone's objective.
Okay, good point. Satish, what about you?
Yeah, so loyalty, of course, is very, very important. But at the same time, you know, I believe in KPI. That means the person has to be result oriented. That is the top priority for employer. And then hence, there is a remuneration. There are a lot of things to motivate and reward based on the KPI that he can deliver, right? So loyalty is important, but the most important is deliveries of the result. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And Wayne.
So looks like the both gentlemen has rightly spoken, right? So they want a balance. That means the both gentlemen says they want the ideal situation that okay, if we can have somebody who is very loyal yet can meet the KPI. That's the best situation that we can have. Now I'm going to throw this back to you, Satish, one more time, right? Before I conclude this.
Okay, good.
Let's say that it cannot be ideal, right? Right? It's like the weightage now is 70% loyalty, KPI is only 30%. Okay, average employee in the organization. What will you do, Satish?
Okay, see, basically KPI is important. Okay, whether the person is loyal or not loyal, KPI is the first priority, top priority. So whatever is intended result that we expect, if that is not delivered, you know, we need to look into how can we change. I mean, you have to change the person, you have to change his results or do something about it, because his loyalty is not primary, the secondary. This is it's a secondary. The first is result.
Okay, so I'm going to put it this way, Datin. I'm going to use a bit of football methodology. Right?
Okay.
my mentor in football is actually Sir Alex Ferguson, right? So then if Satish, if you were to look at the history, the success of Sir Alex, right? So he always value loyalty, right?
Okay.
A good mix with also the KPI, right? But
Yeah.
when a very good player, like even in the past during Sir Alex tenure, David Beckham, fantastic footballer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But loyalty sucks. KPI 110%, but he can't make it to Sir Alex squad, right? Because for Sir Alex here is he treasure loyalty, average performance, but he can, because of the loyalty, and but these people are just average player, right?
Yeah.
But they will actually fight for the squad, you see, and the team.
Yeah.
Right. So this is where it's very hard to juggle these two things. I think it's a very difficult question.
Yeah, but that's what I said is a balance. So the first top priority is, if somebody is loyal, he's very talented, his actions are very good, customer related, everything is perfect, but results are not coming. Okay. Theoretically, everything is correct. He has good attitude, good discipline, everything. The results are not there. You can be more patient toward that person. That's all I can say. You can be more patient compared to the other fresh graduate. You can try, do many things. As a leader, you can inject many. You can yourself get into practically with him or her to get the results delivered. But the KPI is very important at the end.
But maybe at this point we can consider reassigning to a different, maybe a different job scope.
But
It's
sorry
rotation.
to interrupt you, Datin. SME setup are usually very small. We are not like the likes of Google. Like you can move them to 1,000 department, right? Keep them motivated. It's like, from finance, the next one, HR is still handled by the same finance person. So you're basically still stuck.
And everybody is doing sales. So okay, time is we're a little bit okay. So now one final round of final words. Yeah. So each of you get 1 minute to your last sharing, something that you want our audience to take home with. Let's begin with Dr. William.
Okay, since the topic is about workforce and human resources, I think what I want to really remind everyone, again, to reiterate my point, is really put as much focus as you can into workforce management as you do with sales, as you do with finance, as you do with your cash flow. A lot of people actually ignore that. They say cash flow is very important, no doubt with that. People say sales is very important, no doubt with that. But don't forget your workforce. That is equally important if you want to survive the pandemic and thrive.
Good. Next, can we have Satish?
Okay, basically I have one slide to talk about how digital transformation, how can we do? Okay, just quick one.
Can you get it?
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay, so because this will, see, how do we do digital transformation? So basically, I want to tell, because many of them may be new to this, which I thought of sharing. These are the 12 steps. Okay, you can get this slide or whatever. These are the 12 steps and very important steps. So instead of explaining everything, I just want to show you this, and where customer organization, change management, and transformational and technical decisions, integration, and how do you go and internalize internal customer experience. That means within the departments, how do you do logistics and supply chain, improve your efficiency, data security, and things like this. So basically, this particular thing, put people first. Okay, then comes focus on soft skills. Okay, and drive the change from the top. This is very important. From the top, you have to drive it all the way. Otherwise, it will not happen. Okay, it will not happen. Don't leave it to the employees. The top man has to drive. Make sure you are acting on data insights. Okay, and the last one, if you can't fail fast, make sure you succeed slowly. Okay, that is very important. You need to have the pleasure. Yeah, a little bit I'm able to progress. It's very tough thing to go because we need to invest. Okay, so you have to balance all the aspects. Good to have, but can we afford? So that's what I want to say, that this is something everybody's talking, Western world, everybody's talking about this, but be careful what we want to invest, what we should and what we should not. Okay. So finally, what I want to say is, of course, this post-COVID thing, my only advice, suggestion to everybody is 3 things: face it, fight it, finish it.
Yes, yes.
Okay. 3 F's.
Okay.
That's all. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. And now, Wayne, famous
Yeah.
last words.
Thank you, Datin. So
Yes.
I mean, we have heard a lot that a lot of jobs has been lost, and there's an estimation to say that in Malaysia itself, probably up to 3 million jobs will be lost. So my view is this. My view is to SME businesses and business owner is, while people are not hiring, right? Even the large corporations are not hiring. Just like in investing in property, buy when it's cheap, right? So I mean, we should relook at our own internal structure and the talents in our own company, right? I mean, no matter how small our workforce is, because if you look at the most successful football clubs in the world, right, players need to be changed. Because if you do refresh the squad, right, it's very hard to actually move to the next level. I mean, time and time again, the biggest club in the world, you can see they just need to remain the same squad for one season. The definitely performance is not going to be the same again. So probably it's time to relook at the whatever a lot of talents now is available in the market and see whether there's a better opportunity to get in the better talent to help to sustain the business or even to bring the business to the next level.
Or shake things up a little bit, yeah? So,
Yeah, that one you said it, I didn't say it.
Okay. Well, I think today's session has been amazing. I have learned so much, and it's very refreshing. First of all, to have someone wearing 2 hats representing both sides of the workforce, the staff and the boss. And then we have the tech guy who's telling you, don't just simply buy carefully. And of course, we have this wealth of football quotes and marital advice. So, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you found today's session insightful. We hope that this has inspired some ideas how you can craft the best way forward that's the best for your business and your team. There is no set template. Nobody here can tell you exactly what to do. I mean, as business owners, it's for us to find our own way, what works best for us. Find the team, like Dr. Williams says, find a team that is aligned to our purpose, someone who will sweat things out together with you. And, I suppose don't look for someone to tell you what to do exactly. Step 1, 2, 3. The best thing we can do is to keep getting information and ideas so that we know what we can do, what are the options available, right? So, okay, a very big thank you to our speakers this evening, Dr. William, Wayne, Satish. Thank you very much for your insightful sharing and advice. I hope this has left our audience with quite a few things to think about, to internalize and digest. And yes, if they wish to reach out, we'll be sending everyone a link to join us on a Telegram group. The speakers are welcome to join us, so you can interact further. And if you want to ask for football quotes, or how best to handle talent, or what are the things, the junk tech that you should not buy, maybe that's something that Satish can advise on, yeah? So next week on the 26th of May, 9 p.m., we'll be going to have our Mandarin session of this topic, and my colleague Louis will be coming on with another panel of speakers. So we have now come to the end of the session. Once again, thank you, everyone. Thank you, speakers. See you at our next session. Good night, everyone.
Stay safe, everyone. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.